going. Welcome back to counseling, Steve. It's good to see you again. And I was just wanting to talk about today, what's brought you to counseling that you feel like you need to talk to somebody about?
Well, I've just really been depressed lately, and just feel like I need to talk to somebody about it.
What's been making you depressed lately? Is there anything going on in your life that has really brought this about?
Well, I've got some struggles at work. I've got some coworkers that are difficult to deal with.
Okay.
So I think that perhaps that's a good part of it. My kids are kind of going through some struggles in their lives. And my parents are getting older. I'm kind of fearful about the future with them, and so those are a few of the things I think that I'm dealing with right now.
Have you been feeling overwhelmed because of all those things going on?
Yeah, I think maybe just because there's, like I said, there's a number of things going on, and maybe they're just hitting me all at the same time. I feel overwhelmed, right?
Have you ever struggled in the past with just feeling down and sort of out of sorts?
Well, I suppose there have been times when I've really felt down. But I suppose right now it's probably worse as it's ever been.
Okay. Does it sort of feel like it's come out of nowhere? Like without much warning?
Well, I guess the circumstances that I'm facing, the different things at work and at home and with my parents, didn't happen all at the same time. But
Okay.
they've kind of all culminated together now.
Sort of like it rains, it pours?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's how life works sometimes, it seems like.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Have your parents struggled with any of these issues or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think that they have, to the best of my knowledge. My mother did, when she went through menopause, she had a nervous breakdown.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. Other than that, I don't think that I have any other issues with my parents or so forth that would have anything similar to what I'm dealing with.
Has your father ever struggled with that at all?
Not that he's ever let me know about.
Okay.
As far as that goes.
When you think about your childhood, do you feel like you had a good childhood, a happy, healthy childhood?
I think overall, I think I did. I mean, there were times probably that my dad was pretty much absent most of my upbringing, so
Okay.
I suppose. But other than that, it wasn't like a bad. My parents didn't abuse me or anything like that. But maybe they were a little bit too busy in their careers to have a lot of time with me.
Did you sort of feel like you weren't as important as you should be?
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
Do you have any sisters? Do you have any brothers? Anything like that?
Yes, I do have one sister, but she's older than me. She's 3 years older than me.
What's your relationship with her now as you're grown?
Well, we have a decent relationship, but we don't talk all that much. So it's a friendly relationship, but not, I suppose, real close.
Do you wish you were closer with your sister?
Yeah, I think it would be nice. It would probably be helpful.
Does that fact that you're not as close as you wish you were, does that sort of make you feel sad sometimes when you think about it?
I suppose, since she's my only sister, and there's probably some sadness with that, I suppose. You're right.
Were you close as kids?
Not particularly.
Okay.
No. So probably closer now than we were when we were growing up.
Okay. Have you ever shared with her, your sister, just how you feel and how you wish you were closer and how you would like to spend more time together just to bond more with her?
Yeah, we're not that close. We probably have those kind of conversations, no.
Okay. I guess another question I have is just a little bit more about your childhood. As a family as a whole, did you guys spend a lot of time with each other doing stuff?
Like I said, my parents were very busy, so not on a regular basis.
No,
we'd go on vacations
Okay.
together and things, but not a lot of family time, I suppose.
But not consistently.
Right.
I guess and another question I had was when you feel just down and depressed, how do you sort of tell that you're starting to feel like that?
Well, probably a good indication is when I tend to withdraw.
You tend to withdraw?
Yeah, so when I have a sense that I withdrawing from things that I normally do, then I can pretty much tell, I'm feeling depressed, and where I just don't want to be around anybody and I just want to be alone.
Did your mother do that same type of behavior when she would feel down or depressed when you were growing up?
Yeah, I suppose she did. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it sounds like you sort of saw that behavior with your mom as that unhealthy way of dealing with depression, and you sort of done the same thing. Would you say that's an accurate statement, just from observing that growing up?
Yeah, I think you're probably accurate in that I've probably followed suit with what she did.
Did you feel like that was a healthy way for your mom to handle that, or?
Well, I would say not, because I realized myself that, being by myself is probably not a good thing, that I need to be around other people, even though I don't want to be. So I would say that was probably an unhealthy way of dealing with her depression. And obviously it would be unhealthy for me as well.
And that's the thing about depression, Steve, is when you isolate yourself, it makes it 10 times as worse.
Mm-hmm.
You already feel alone and down, and when you stick yourself in a room by yourself with nobody around, it just makes it a lot worse. That's why it's so important to be in community, to get out and do things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you have that depression, do you find yourself going for walks or getting out of the house?
Right. I mean, I usually do, but sometimes I sort of cut off social, just because I'm not sure why, but I usually just, but oftentimes it does help. I understand what you're saying, that when you're around people and you can talk to them, it makes you feel better.
So in your experience, it has helped when you've done that?
I think so, right. Mm-hmm. Even though I don't feel like doing it at the time, but afterwards it's usually beneficial.
See, that's where you're making progress. You've seen in your life some of the unhealthy ways you deal with this depression, but you're also at the same time doing some behaviors where it is a healthy way to deal with it. When you felt it coming on, you've gotten away. You've gotten around people, and it's made you feel better, and that's some progress. Overnight, this won't be fixed, but as we talk more and more and more, we'll just discuss some tools, and you've already got some tools in your belt already for how to deal with this in a better way. So you're already getting some victory over this, and we'll just talk about some other ways might give you some other ideas. But just realize it's not going to be changed overnight. I don't want you to think that after one session, all of a sudden you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're never going to be depressed again. I mean, the ultimate goal is that as time goes on, that it will not exist as much. But a more measurable goal is to really, for you to be able to have a better understanding of recognizing when it's coming on and developing some more healthy habits of dealing with it, opposed to unhealthy habits. Would you say that's a goal that you would hope would happen?
Right, yeah, that sounds good.
And another question I had for you is, do you have any type of alcohol history? Have you ever drank, anything like that?
Yeah, times when I get real depressed, I'll drink.
And that's the thing with alcohol, it will make that depression worse. And a lot of people try to get over it by using alcohol, because alcohol depresses your immune system and doesn't make you feel very good. So one thing for you, if you have a tendency to go to alcohol to get over it, is maybe not have alcohol in your house. Make it a lot harder to get to it, because you would have to go drive somewhere else to get to that crutch that you need, that you want, the unhealthy way of dealing with that.
Right.
And another thing is too, I don't know if you're around people that drink also, but it's probably not the best environment to be when you're depressed.
Right, I can see that.
When you're depressed, do you go to bars or anything like that?
Sometimes, usually I just drink at home. But
Okay. It's by going to bars, it's a lot easier to slip up into that.
Okay.
So that might be another thing is when you feel depressed, you feel that urge to drink, is just not having drinks in your house.
Yep.
And also having someone to be accountable to. If you know that's a natural tendency, have someone that you can call to say, hey, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling upset, I want to have a little drink to talk to, and that can come over and talk to you about it. Would be another healthy way to get over that unhealthy way that you sometimes more lean to. Have you ever used anything like any hard drugs or marijuana or anything illegal substances?
No, I have not.
You have not? Do you drink a lot of caffeine?
When I'm really, if I need to stay up late or something and I need to, then I'll drink caffeine.
Do you drink highly caffeinated drinks like energy drinks or Mountain Dew?
Yeah, sometimes I do.
About how many pops a day would you say you drink that have a lot of caffeine in them?
Probably about 2 or 3.
About 2 or 3? And that's the thing about caffeine. It might get you hyper for a little bit, but eventually you crash
Yeah.
when it wears off. And that's not going to really help depression, because it's going to put you right back into that state.
I see. Right. Yeah, that's true. It helps for a while, but then you get the crash afterwards.
And another thing I would like to know is, like, how are you taking care of yourself? How are you taking care of yourself as you live your life?
Well, I know when I'm feeling better is when I'm exercising regularly, and I know it affects me when I'm not. So when I am taking better care of myself, I tend to deal with my depression much better, I think.
Okay.
So working out and physical activity.
You know it's a big difference when you do that, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you work out, it releases chemicals and makes you feel better. So that's even more progress too. You're already learning healthier ways to deal with your depression. Because I don't want you to leave this session feeling like there's no hope or there's nothing going to happen anytime soon and get discouraged. Because if you think the end goal is just for it to go away completely and it's not happening right away, it's easy to get discouraged. So that's why I've been talking so much about measurable goals. Things that you can look at and say, hey, I'm making progress. And that's, as we go on, we're going to talk more about those things. And really today was just getting to know your background and where you're coming from and how you're living your life and some unhealthy things you're doing and how you're taking care of yourself and just learning more about your family. And you've already identified that your mom struggles with the same thing, and you've seen some unhealthy habits that she's exhibited, and you sort of witnessed those growing up, and you've done some of the same things. But you've also learned some healthy ones. So we're going to work on learning some more healthy habits just to help you get through this time of your life. Does that sound like a plan to you?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Do you feel better after talking about the prospect of just improving in this area? And
Yeah, I do. I feel more hopeful now.
well, that's the goal. That's why I was hoping when you leave here that you do feel hopeful. And next week we'll talk more about some more tools. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the mechanisms that might have brought on your depression. There's some ways that you might have just been ignoring the issue and taking the more easier way out instead of facing it head on. That is as a human being, it's a natural tendency is to do something easier to get over it instead of doing something to really get at the root of why you're feeling this way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So I look forward to talking to you next week, and we'll meet at the same time, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.